I just bought this bottle of Old Forester 86 proof, and I believe the only way to give a valid, honest opinion is to test it blind. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to blind this versus 3 other random bourbons that I have. This only cost me a little over 20 bucks, so this could be a good value bourbon. I've never tasted any Old Forester products. This is my first. I thought about getting the 100 proof, but I decided to get their base product, the 86 proof version. Give that a try first. I don't know what the other 3 bourbons are going to be that I'm blinding. So me in the future, after I get done, it's going to fill you in right now. So this is me from the future after drinking a bunch of bourbon. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to show you what is in this blind. Obviously, I've got the Old Forester 86. And I also got 100 proof Evan Williams Bottled in Bond. And I have 4 Roses Small Batch. And last, Basil Hayden. Kind of expensive beginner bourbon people like to hate on. So let's get back to the past and start tasting these. I have my 4 bourbons here. The only thing I know about them is they are bourbons. I could have filtered them down to be more close in proof or value to the Old Forester, but I decided to just go with all bourbons to get a good range, possibly. But since this is random, I have no clue the quality of what these are. I'm going to go through, taste them all, take notes, and then I'll come back to you afterwards and tell you what I think about them. So I just finished tasting all of these, and it took a while because they're all so hard to decide which one I like the best. There was nothing that was really bad, and there was nothing that was great. So their rankings were all in a pretty close range. I'm going to start off with the worst and go up to the best. And remember, this is just my opinion, and this is just my opinion today, so it could change. Starting off with the worst, I gave a rating of 52, was this one over here. The odd thing about this one is the more I drank it, the less I liked it. It had a very sour note on the mid palate that just turned me off. I thought the nose of it might have been the best. It had an oak smell. It had a weak flavor in the front that turned sour that I didn't like. And then it had a pretty strong finish, which was spicy. But that sour note just turned me off enough that rating it the worst. So I'm going to look this up, see what it is, how much it costs, and give a value rating on it. 3715. That was Basil Hayden. Meant to be like a beginner bourbon. Supposed to be very light on the flavor. I actually didn't feel it was very light. Other than the front of the palate, it was very light, but it had a sour note to it. And then it finished like spicy for me. I gave it a rating of 55 before, which is pretty close. So I'm going to average those out with its price of $34. You might not even be able to find it for $34, but sometimes it goes up in the 40s. For sipping, the value grade is a D+. I don't think it is good enough for how much it costs. For mixing, it gets a C-. It's not that expensive, so it could be a mixer. Next up in third place was this one. It had a weak nose. It smelled like dusty books or hay. It was sweet on the nose, but the front and the mid palate were both very weak. And it just ends a little spicy. It just felt very weak to me. I feel like it was maybe 80 proof. I'm going to give it a 59, which is high end of decent, not quite good. Let's see what that is. That was 4 Roses Small Batch, 90 proof, and I have already polished off this bottle. That's the first time I blinded this. Kind of disappointed in it. For its sipping, value rating, it gets a C, and it also gets a C for mixing value. In second place, I chose this one with a rating of 61, which is on the low end of good. The theme of this one is the flavor is all right up in the front, and then it just fades. Also, the nose of it was the least sweet of all four of these. So since the flavor of it just fades over time, it has a general feeling that it's not that strong, but being upfront with it is a good thing, I guess. So let me find out what that is. So that was Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. That is very surprising to me because the last time I blind taste tested this, I gave it a 76, and I almost said the opposite about it. I remember saying it was very crushable, as in it was a very weak flavor up front, but it built. And then this time, I said the opposite. The flavor just died off on it. So the score I gave it of a 61 brings its average down to 68.5, which is still on the high end of good. And at a price of only $19, that gives it an A+ rating for sipping and an A+ rating for mixing. So that leaves us with first place. I got a smell of caramel on the nose and like a sweet, dry erase marker, which I don't think is a bad smell. I thought its mouthfeel was pretty nice and thick, and I thought it was better the more that I drank it. Just a little bit of like a weak oak on the front palate and spiciness on the finish. And this one is obviously what's left is the Old Forester. So apparently I like that the best now. Rating of 65, which is good. It's still not great. I know I've had bourbons better than it. I think I found this for a decent price of $23, but at $23, that only gives it a sipping value of B+. But for a mixer, it would be an A. It would probably make a plenty good old-fashioned. I think I'm going to have to try the 100 proof Old Forester, because if I liked this 86 proof version more than the Bottled and Bond 100 proof Evan Williams, I might like the 100 proof Old Forester even better. So that's something I'll look forward to in the future. I hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time.